What's up, guys? Matt Hospital, prospecting geologist here, bringing you some very interesting stuff on an interesting locale, undisclosed location. But right now we've just been doing a little panning on this small little feeder creek. Getting nice color. 20 to 30 colors in a pan so far with some nicer flakes. Decomposed bedrock appears to be fairly shallow, at least in this one location, maybe about 1.5 feet down. I think that's what it is. It's kind of looking like this here. So I think this is plausibly decomposed bedrock. You can see some layering in it. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. We're gonna pan this out and see. And keep getting an idea of this little creek, but there's going to be some very interesting stuff to show you on this one here coming up. This is mainly just going to be a panning and metal detecting type of day, but lots of ground to cover over shitty terrain like this. But we got a lot to do and a lot to see. What's up, guys? Matt Hospital, prospecting geologist here, bringing you some stuff. Very interesting stuff on an interesting locale, undisclosed location.
Stuff up real good.
So right now we've just been doing a little panning on this small little feeder creek.
Plausibly it's decomposed bedrock.
Getting nice color. 20 to 30 colors in the pan so far. With
the gravels are almost 100% quartz.
Decomposed bedrock appears to be fairly shallow, at least in this one location, maybe about
heavy's, not a ton of black sands, which is interesting.
I think that's what it is. It's kind of looking like this here. So I think this is plausibly decomposed bedrock. You can see some layering in it. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. We're going to pan this out and see. Keep getting an idea of this little creek, but there's going to be some very interesting stuff to show you on this one here coming up. This is mainly just going to be a panning and metal detecting type of day, but lots of ground to cover over shitty terrain like this. But we got a lot to do and a lot to see. Should be some pretty exciting stuff, hopefully. So, we'll be back.
See, I mean, it's still just almost all blonde sands, even down that far. There'll just be a little bit of black sand. And probably some gold. Yep. Don't know how hard it is to see it. But there's like 20 colors up there, one little bit bigger piece, a bunch of small fines, probably minus 30. One piece maybe right at about 30 mesh. That's been every pan here so far from the top surface down, which is interesting. Got a lot more work to do and a lot more to go. So we're gonna get after it. Second panning spot of the day so far, just random. Looking at them, I mainly saw that there was some larger gravel than in the last one at this particular location. So to the side of the pan here, this is the result. This is the oversize. We'll probably run a metal detector over it. This is the results, and this was literally, I skimmed off like the upper 4 inches of loose material with the shovel. And there is 30 plus colors in there probably. And we are approaching, we're right on the downstream side of a large gold mineralization trend right here. And interestingly enough, while the heavy mineral content hasn't necessarily increased, we are getting larger pieces of heavy mineral, which is generally an indicator that as your black sands get coarser, you're getting closer to a probable
mineralization source.
But there's some bigger pieces of gold in there too. But I mean, there's 30 colors in there from like skimming 4 inches of material off the top. Next pan here, I'm gonna try and dig down into it a little deeper and see what we get. But that is interesting. It's very coarse gold. It's probably almost impossible to see on this, but it has prickles and all that type of stuff on it, which is indicative of being right on top of a, or very close to a primary gold lode vein. This area, it's known that it's here. How much panning has been done in these creeks, I'm not 100% sure. It's interesting that the old timers did not find this, but yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I'm keeping my eyes open for anything. Let's try and take a deeper pan at this location and see what it comes up with. So location 2, we are going to try and get down through the upper slough and see what some of the deeper material it has in it. It kind of sank, which is interesting. Could just be decomposing bedrock. Which I think is 100% what that is. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking for structure in this, and you kind of got to peel it apart correctly. But this, I believe, is decomposing bedrock. Yeah, nice, isn't it? Let's try to peel this down, please. I mean, it was honestly less than 1 foot of material to decomposing bedrock, less than possibly 6 inches. This stuff's going to be a royal pain to try. Yeah, that's definitely decomposing bedrock. So it's very shallow to the surface here. So there isn't a thick layer of alluvial, but there is alluvial here, obviously. And decomposing bedrock is relatively shallow. And part of the reason it could be so decomposed here is due to the nearby mineralization of the gold-bearing quartz vein. That will a lot of times hydrothermally alter the surrounding country rock, and it will then become less stable once it reaches the surface and the elements, and it will be more decomposed. Holy crap. There's 100 colors or more in there. Probably gonna be difficult to see. Maybe not, I don't know. It might be actually visible now. You can see just, oh, right along there. Look at that. That's incredible. Definitely more than what was on the surface. I think that's probably predominantly the reason why there is so much is we hit that transition from alluvial to the decomposing bedrock, which is probably where the majority of the gold is. If you could break this stuff up more, there's probably even more in it. But that's like 100 plus colors, and some of them are getting a little chunkier. Yeah, that is impressive and indicative of probably a good source cutting through right in this area. Awesome. We're gonna keep looking around and keep taking pans and stuff and just trying to get a feel for material thicknesses, material types.
general trends and things like that, like where is gold tending to concentrate and everything in this area, inside, outside bend, it does not matter. I guarantee you, if you could remove the overburden of this whole valley and pan almost anywhere across it, you would get results like that, because we are literally sitting on the tail edge of the source. It would be, yeah, it would be fairly evenly distributed throughout this entire area. Are there going to be hot spots just due to the vein being hotter in certain areas? Yes, but not due to alluvial factors of deposition. Some cool stuff. Let's keep on digging. Okay, so this pan here was taken, I basically dug down about 6 inches, found that transition from the alluvial to the decomposed bedrock, and kind of skimmed the material off the top of that decomposed bedrock transition. And there actually was a piece of gold sticking in this ball of mud right there, but this is the result of a single pan from that transition zone. I mean, that's over 100 colors, easy. Don't know how easy that's coming through with the check, but yeah. Well, that's a lot of gold for a single pan. And that's on that transition zone. There was a bedrock structure sticking up here of harder bedrock. There was decent gold on both sides of it as well, but it seems to like this deeper clay layer, decomposed bedrock layer, a little more. Okay, so was just digging right here. We're now what, 3.5, 4 feet higher. Decided to just kind of dig down in this floodplain, and after, I mean, you could feel it in the shovel, so it was within the depth of the shovel. You hear that? Within 6 inches of the upper material here, the upper organic crap, there is a gravel layer, which is very interesting to be that. It's 2.5, 2 feet above the level of the creek. So we're gonna find out what comes out of this. I mean, nothing huge, no huge gravel in it, but I mean, you're at the top of some sort of alluvial gravel deposit. Let's find out what comes out of that, shall we? Could be interesting. Because you got to realize this whole area was never placer mined. So there could be a lot of gold. Let's find out. Now we're definitely not close to bedrock up there, I don't think. Not saying we aren't, it's hard to say. But yeah, tiny, there's like 5 to 10 tiny little probably minus 100 mesh gold came out of that there. That is interesting. I want to. Okay, third panning location. Took a skim off the top, like top 4 inches. Decent 20, nice 20 colors or so. Then took a deeper pan down, big full pan like that. 100 to 150 colors. I'll insert a picture. And then still was in alluvial, not hitting any type of decomposed bedrock. Now I dug down, scraped out, dug down below that, and now I think we're into the top of decomposed bedrock. So this could be a incredible pan. We will pan it out here and see what we get. I mean, 100 to 150 colors a pan is like, I'd have to calculate out what that comes to in like grams per yard. But I'll try and insert that here too as well, what that would be in grams per yard, and run a calculation. We are going to pan this out now. Pan this out right about now. And see what we get. Oh, huge pan.
It actually kind of looks more like an alluvial clayey hard pack than it does a decomposing bedrock, which is interesting. Still should be good, but yeah, this does actually not look like decomposing bedrock. So we'll still find out. Crazy really how, I mean, out of that much material we're getting down to the bottom here, and you can see still how much it's just blonde sand. Not much. You can start seeing a little bit of black sand showing up, but not much black sand. Let's reset down. Let's not fall in my hole. And let's see what that produced. Yeah, there's still a good bit of gold, still about the same as what the previous pan was. I mean, there's probably 100 colors or more in there. Really hard to see. Two bigger pieces right here. And then just a ton of fines right through there. But that's a single large pan. Probably lost some just due to the size of the pan that I was doing. But that's, yeah. From surface down probably 2.5 feet. Still not hitting bedrock, but there's gold in the whole strata. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm up a good 100 yards or so away from the creek on a rounded hilltop area. Was metal detecting around a little bit, just very quickly. But the ground up here has a lot of quartz in it, and there's quartz stringers and stuff all through here. And it's kind of alluvial type, it looks like. So we are going to grab a 5-gallon, or at least a half of a 5-gallon bucket sample of this stuff and pan it down. And you can see how crunchy it is. We got unclassified half to 3/4. We will we're gonna drag us back to the creek
and pan it out and see if there's any loose gold shedding off this hillside. So pan down the bucket that I took from the hilltop over there, and I mean, it has a little bit of gold, maybe 5 colors. One slightly larger piece, the other pieces are probably smaller than 100 mesh.
They're kind of right in there, very hard to see, but then you do have, so there's other mineralization up there as well, including limonite after pyrite, as well as it looked like I saw some magnetite cubes as well, or magnetite tetrahedron, whatever they're called. But yeah, so not, I mean, there's definitely gold up on top of the hill there.
Just not a ton for a 3/4 full 5-gallon bucket, but it is interesting. You got more mineralization up there, limonite after pyrite, and some magnetite and everything. So